Hey, Jim, before we get out of here, real quick, just because it refers to something we talked about a little earlier in the show, another quote from this Paul Levesque interview with Ariel Helwani is making the rounds right now. One of the quotes here, let's see if you can figure out which one jumped out at people. He was asked about how he felt about the rebranding of NXT after losing the Wednesday Night War to AEW. People put so much pressure on this competitive war. It never was that. First of all, they beat our developmental system. Good for them. No, it was never that. There was never even pressure of, you have to beat that. It was just put on the best product you could. And then he says that, of course, they're paying attention because everything is competition, that typical line that justifies predatory business practices usually. But, Jim, what are your thoughts on saying, good for them, they beat the developmental system?
Well, that's what we said 3 years ago. And that's what I said that they were saying at the time. And it's not even diminishing what AEW was doing. It's just stating facts. If Vince McMahon had really wanted to wage a full-on war and put them out of business, then remember we talked about it at the start. Every WWE superstar was available to pop into NXT. And it happened every once in a while, and not ever. We never saw Roman Reigns wander onto the NXT fucking program, right? It was a way to put a stumbling block in the path of this new upstart promotion. We'll counter-program them with our developmental system. And if we win, or even if we just take viewers away from them, then that's a positive. And we've established another couple of hours on television, on national cable. And there was really no way the WWE was going to fucking lose. They didn't look bad, only in the eyes of the AEW fans who are just blind to the whole thing. It never looked bad that they lost the time slot rating by, 200,000 people, or sometimes 150,000, sometimes tighter than that, when it was the flagship show of the new promotion with every major star that they had on it, from Jericho, etc. on down, against the developmental program, the C show. And the difference was a few 100,000. That's not a goddamn... Vince didn't dismantle NXT because they didn't beat AEW in the ratings. That was just to give them some aggravation and just keep a few 100,000 people from watching AEW. Vince dismantled NXT because he went down there and saw a bunch of fucking Johnny Garganos. And said, what the fuck has my son-in-law been doing? Because I knew they had plenty of shit going on there that was good. For a while, NXT was the best program we liked for wrestling that wouldn't insult anybody's intelligence, didn't make everything look fucking fake, and at least had some guys that could fucking go blah, blah, blah. Vince dismantled it because he went down there and fixated on the amount of people that would never, ever be on the main roster under him, and he was right about most of them. And that's why he did what he did. It wasn't about the TV ratings. Uncle Dave might tell you that because that's what he hears from Tony Khan, and he's far up Tony's ass. He wants to believe it too. But the real story was Vince went down there and then turned around and said, Bruce, what do you think? And Bruce read Vince's mind. But it was like he didn't see Damian Priest. He saw Johnny Gargano. He didn't see fucking, this talent or that talent. He saw the fact that the Undisputed Era was all fucking 180 pounds. And that's what I said. If they had had a couple of guys at that size that were really exceptional and everybody else looked halfway like a wrestler and that they could make the main roster, Vince wouldn't have had a fucking issue. But when he sees a bunch of them running around, that's when he doesn't want to hear anymore, and he's got his own fucking idea, and he's going to revamp that thing. And that's what happened. And now even if they revamp it back, now Jesus Christ, you built a pyramid. Everybody loved it. then somebody came around and tore it down, and you saw, well, I guess it wasn't as sturdy as we thought it was. Well, now, even if they want the pyramid back, you can build the pyramid again. You've already seen the pyramid tore down once. News off of it, blooms off the rose, whatever the fuck. So we'll see. But that's what it was. It wasn't the TV ratings. It was the... And a lot of people are going to say, well, goddamn, like Vince McMahon didn't know that all those guys were down there. I got news for you. No, he fucking didn't. If you'd have held a gun to Vince McMahon in fall of 2000 and said, does Brock Lesnar, Shelton Benjamin, and John Cena work for you? He said, who the fuck are you talking about? He would have recognized Brock's name. Rest of them, fuck. I don't know that he ever watched an episode of OVW in 5 fucking years, 6 years. So the answer to that question is no, he didn't know what the fuck was going on down there and didn't know what anybody looked like except what he was told by the people he might ask a question to or might be tasked to give a report. And what were they going to say? Oh, yeah, there's this bunch of guys down there. Triple H has signed up. They're 5'2" and 100 and nothing. So there you go. So, yes, I agree with Triple H's comment. Congratulations, you beat developmental.